Cheerful music, colourful animation with stars and clouds on screen text, the magical adventure of Leela, and the talking star narration begins once upon a time. In a quiet little village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Leela. Unlike the other children who spent their days playing hopscotch and tag, Leela preferred to sit by her window after sunset, gazing up at the star-studded sky and dreaming of distant galaxies and faraway planets. She would spend hours tracing constellations and making up stories about the magical creatures that lived among the stars. Her room was filled with books about astronomy, and she knew every planet's name and its distance from the Earth. The villagers often saw Leela outside, arms outstretched, dancing in the moonlight and whispering secrets to the wind. Though some folks in the village thought she was a bit odd, Leela didn't mind. She was too busy exploring the mysteries of the universe and imagining all the wonders it held. One evening, as Leela sat by her window watching the sunset, she noticed a bright shooting star streaking across the sky. It left a shimmering trail that seemed to lead right to her garden. Intrigued, Leela rushed outside and gasped in amazement. Right in the middle of her flower bed lay a tiny, glowing star. It wasn't much bigger than her hand, but it sparkled with an otherworldly light that made Leela's eyes pop wide with wonder. As she approached the star cautiously, she heard a small voice that seemed to come from inside her head. "Hello, Leela," the voice said softly. "My name is Spark. I need your help." Startled, Leela jumped back, but then she noticed that the star was moving closer towards her and taking the form of a small, friendly-looking creature with wings like a hummingbird and a tail that shimmered like a comet. It had large, luminous eyes that twinkled like the stars above, and its entire body glowed with a soft, ethereal light. "I'm sorry to startle you," Spark said apologetically, "but I fell down to earth from the sky, and I must return before sunrise. But first, I need to spread kindness in your village, so my light will become strong enough to fly back home. Will you help me?" Leela's initial shock had given way to a sense of adventure and excitement. "Of course, I'll help you," she exclaimed, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. "Let's go," and with that, Leela and Spark set off on their magical quest to restore Sparkhair's light and return him to the sky. Their first stop was the village square, where they saw an old, frail woman struggling to carry her groceries. Without hesitation, Leela rushed to help her, taking some of the bags and walking with her. "Thank you," the woman said with a grateful smile. "It's nice to see young people still have kindness in their hearts." At that moment, Spark flew in circles around Leela and the woman, leaving a trail of shimmering stardust that seemed to lift their spirits and fill them with joy. Suddenly, the sky above them began to glow with a soft, ethereal light, and a gentle breeze rustled through the trees, creating a peaceful, magical atmosphere. The woman looked up in awe and whispered, "It's beautiful," and for a moment, everything felt right in the world. As they continued their journey, Leela noticed a group of children laughing and playing nearby. But their game took a sinister turn when one of them, a lanky boy with a mischievous grin, tripped over a smaller child, sending him sprawling on the ground. The other children snickered and jeered, and Leela felt a surge of anger and indignation. "That's not funny," she exclaimed, rushing over to the fallen child. "Are you hurt?" she asked, helping him to his feet. The boy shook his head, wiping away a tear. "It's okay," he whispered. "I'm just going home." Seeing the hurt in the child's eyes, Leela's heart ached. She knew that no amount of toys or games could ever make up for the pain of losing her parents. In a moment of inspiration, Leela turned to the other children and said, "Why don't we play a different game?" We can play pirates or knights, or even pretend we're flying to distant planets and stars." The children's faces immediately lit up with excitement. "That would be so much fun," one of them exclaimed. And before long, they were all gathered around Leela and Spark, creating imaginary worlds and embarking on epic adventures together. For a few precious moments, Leela forgot about her own sadness as she watched the other children laughing and playing. She knew that she had made a difference in their lives, and that was all that mattered. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the village, Leela and Spark made their way to the Whispering Woods, a place where gnarled trees seemed to reach for the sky and ancient secrets whispered on the wind. The forest was dark and foreboding, and Lila's heart pounded in her chest as she walked deeper into its shadowy depths. Suddenly, she heard a loud crash and a deep growl that echoed through the trees. "What was that?" she whispered, clutching Spark's hand tightly. Before he could answer, a large shape emerged from behind a tree, and Leela gasped in terror. It was a massive wolf with glowing red eyes and sharp fangs that glistened in the moonlight. "Don't be afraid, Leela," Spark said reassuringly. "I know how to help him." With a determined nod, Spark flew closer to the wolf, and Leela watched with bated breath as the creature's eyes slowly lost their menacing glow and became soft and gentle. "You don't need to be scared anymore," Spark said softly. "You're safe now." The wolf let out a low whine and nuzzled against Spark, and Leela couldn't believe her eyes. The fearsome beast from moments before was now a gentle, friendly creature. She cautiously approached the wolf and stroked its fur, and it wagged its tail happily, licking her hand with its rough but affectionate tongue. Realizing that the wolf wasn't dangerous, Leela and Spark continued their journey to find someone else in need of help. After wandering through the forest for a while longer, they came across a small clearing where a deer was trapped in a hunter's snare. Leela and Spark quickly freed the frightened animal, and Spark healed the deer's wounds with a touch of his magic. As a reward for their kindness, the deer led them to a secret path that led to a beautiful meadow filled with sparkling waterfalls and lush vegetation. Leela and Spark felt rejuvenated by the serene surroundings and realized that they had made a positive impact on the forest and its inhabitants. As the sun began to rise, casting its golden rays over the horizon, Leela knew it was time to say goodbye to Spark. She hugged him tightly, and he returned the gesture with an affection that surprised her. "Thank you, Leela, for helping me," Spark said. "Because of your kindness, I am whole again." With that, Spark took off into the sky, soaring higher and higher until he disappeared into the clouds. Leela stood there watching him go, her heart filled with gratitude and wonder. She knew that her life would never be the same again. From that day on, Leela continued to help those in need, inspired by the memory of Spark and his message of kindness and compassion. She became known throughout the land as a healer and a bringer of light, and many people credited her with saving their lives or improving their well-being. Leela never forgot the lessons she learned from Spark, and she carried them with her for the rest of her life. Whenever she saw a shooting star streaking across the sky, she knew that it was Spark visiting her from the heavens above, reminding her of the importance of kindness and the power of friendship. Gentle music, warm colors, narrator, and from that day on, Leela always remembered, a little kindness can make the world shine brighter. The end.